Good day. For this video, we will be talking about our final project in Computer Programming 2, which is a wastewater quality monitoring report using Python and Pandas. To give you an overview of our program, this program is user-dependent. Ibig sabihin, gagana lamang ang program na ito kung ito ay gagamitin ng ating user. So, si user ay may kakayahang pumili kung ano water body classification ng kanyang point of discharge. This water classification can either be Class AA, A, B, C, and D. And also we have Class SA, SB, SC, and SB. And lahat ng ito ay galing sa ating DAO 2016-08. And then after that, they are required to input values on a primary parameter. So ibig sabihin, other parameters will not be entertained by this program. And then after that, this is the expected output. So as you can see, meron tayo dyan ng parameter, yung inputted values, kung ito ba ay acceptable or unacceptable, and also its effects sa ating water body. In-depth discussion with regards sa structure ng program na ito, and also kung paano ito paganahin will be further discussed in this video.
For each water classification, we use import pandas as PD to clearly organize wastewater parameters and their standard values. This imports the pandas library with PD as a shortcut for functions like pd.dataframe. For the second line, para_AA, we created a dictionary containing two keys. First, the parameters. This is a list of wastewater parameters such as BOD, chloride, etc. On the other hand, the standard values, these are the limits or required values based on the Class AA standard according to DAO 2016-08. For the third line, we use this code to convert the para_AA dictionary into a data frame, similar to an Excel table in Python. It's a clear and organized way to present data. Lastly, by calling printdf, the contents of the data frame are displayed in the console or terminal, showing each parameter neatly aligned with its corresponding standard value. We use these same lines of code with modified dictionaries for all water classifications, such as Class A, Class B, and others.
We develop function for each wastewater classification from Class AA to Class SB and each printed with each designated design. Each class has its own function that is based on DAO 2016-08. For example, the acceptable level of BOD, pH, TSS, and other parameters differ depending on the class. That's why each function has assigned values and corresponding suggestions in case the input values do not meet the standards. When the user inputs a negative value, the system automatically records it as an error. It will immediately prompt the user with the message, "Invalid input, please try again," using the accept value function. We also use a loop to ensure the program doesn't proceed until the correct input is entered.
When one of the functions is called in the main program, for example, Class AA, the system will immediately prompt the user to input values for the following parameters. Each value is stored using Pandas data frame to make it easier to display and analyze the data later. Once all the input are entered, we store them in a dictionary format called result. From there, the system checks if the input values fall within the allowed limit based on DAO standards. We use if-else statement to compare the user input with a set allowable limit. If a value exceeds the limit, an automatic suggestion or explanation appears to inform the user of its potential effect on the water body. At the end of each function, we use a return statement to send the data back to the main function.
The main program begins with the definition of the main function, which serves as the core structure. Inside this function, a while true loop is used to allow the user to repeatedly run the analysis until they choose to exit. A try statement is used to catch errors, such as when the user enters invalid or non-numeric input. The program then displays a list of wastewater classifications from Class AA to Class SD using formatted print statements and the .center function to neatly align the options on the screen. The user is prompted to enter a classification number. The input is converted into an integer using the integer function. Based on the user's choice, the program calls a corresponding function, which returns the analysis results in the form of a dictionary. After receiving the results, a table header is printed to organize the output. Then, a for loop is used to iterate through each parameter in the results. For each parameter, the program displays its name and the measured value, whether it's acceptable, and the possible environmental effects. This structured output provides a clear overview of the water's condition. Next, the program uses the all function to check if all the remarks in the results are marked as acceptable. Based on this, a final status is printed indicating whether the effluent is safe or not safe for discharge. This entire process is repeated for each classification the user selects. If the user enters a number outside the valid range, a message is displayed asking them to choose from the listed option. If non-numeric input is given, the accept statement handles the value error and display a warning. After each cycle, the user is asked whether they would like to perform another calculation. If they answer yes, the loop continues. If not, the program prints a closing message and ends. Lastly, the main function is called at the bottom of the script to initiate the program.
So now, let's proceed naman on how this program will help you evaluate kung safe bang wastewater to discharge based sa water body classification na provided ng DAO 2016-08. So for example, si company ang user. Ang program ay magpapakita muna ng listahan ng wastewater classification from Class AA hanggang Class SD. And then pipili si company kung anong class ang gusto niyang evaluate. So for example, Class AA ang prefer niya. So from the list, Class AA is number 1. So input lang natin si number 1. And as you can see, maglalabas lamang siya ng mga standard values na parameters na included sa class na napili. And then hihingan si company ng mga values ng mga parameters. So ayun, maglagay lang tayo ng mga values sa lahat ng parameters. Sunod na mangyayari dyan is i-compare ni program ang inputted values ni company sa lahat ng standard limits. As you can see, naglabas na si program ng table of parameters with results and also indicated din ang remarks kung saan nagsasabi if acceptable ba or unacceptable ang mga values. Also, we have here the possible effects kung ang wastewater ay hindi pumasa sa anumang standard limits ng mga parameters and shows no effects kapag acceptable ang remarks. Capable din si program to show the overall status of the effluent if it is safe ba to discharge or not. And after that, the program will ask if gusto pa ulit ni user na mag-undergo ng another calculation of wastewater. Okay, sige, try ulit natin. So input lang tayo ng yes. Ayan, lalabas ulit sa list ang wastewater classification. So let's say gusto ni user na Class SA naman. Input lang natin si number 6 and again, lalabas lang ulit ang lahat ng parameters with its standard limits. And again, as you can see, manghingi ulit ng inputs from the user. Pero what if na mali ang input si user at hindi numeric values ang nailagay niya? Anong mangyayari? Don't worry kasi maglalabas lang si program ng warning na invalid input, please try again. And may chance pa si user na mag-input ng correct values. What if negative values naman ang nailagay ni user? Again, magdedemand ulit si program ng input from the user until ang correct values na ang ilagay. Then maglalabas na ulit ang table of results and malalaman na ni user kung pasado ba ang wastewater to discharge. And if the user does not want to perform another calculation, itype lang natin ang no para mag-appear ang statement na thank you exiting the program, and that's how the program works.